So this is 5 Minutes with Phil and Justin, but instead we got this guy here, and who are you?
Brandon Kemper. I'm sorry to disappoint, about 250 pounds less, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm doing my best here.
Today what we're gonna talk about is how to scale a sales team. Whether it's a sales team or a small business, we look at people here in the company as, if you're a team leader, you are a business owner essentially, right? Because you have a team, right? So you're a leader. You're the top guy in the company as far as sales goes. You've been with the company for a long time. Shine some light on like your story about like scaling and you know that.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because, and this happens probably to a lot of people, but because I was the top sales guy in 2017, it was you who basically deemed me the sales manager, where you're like, okay, listen, you're the top guy, you're the sales manager now. And you're like getting ready to die laughing.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. And I remember legit Googling, like, what do you do as a sales manager? Like,
that was before ChatGPT.
Literally, I'm Googling it and like trying to figure out, you know, like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
We've now scaled to, we have about a 35 to 40-man team, and started with just one guy that didn't have a car. I was picking him up from his house, looking to mentor him, trying to teach him how to close deals and so on and so forth, and it was difficult. I'm a very type A personality, you know that about me. So I'm very like, it's this way or it's that way, but you can't coach everyone the same way. And I've realized that over the years.
How much money do you think you've lost learning that lesson?
Literally millions of dollars, like in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I'm 38 years old right now, and I started in
you're
sales.
Like 45.
Yeah, I look like I'm 48. I'm 38 now. I literally just turned 38, but you look like you're like 55.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, literally millions of dollars.
Wow.
Honestly.
Yeah, no, it's a thought, right? It's something to think about. And I think what a lot of people fall into, there's two reasons why people pull back from delegating. One, you don't have the team to delegate to, so you didn't recruit correctly.
Interesting.
And if you have the ability to recruit, meaning that you have a budget, you're the salesperson that created that budget. But you're obviously good enough to be invested in, right? So that check, okay, you're a beast, let's just say, okay? Now, if you don't have your profile down of like who you want on your team, right? You have, and let's just say you never thought that, and that's a leak that you didn't plug. You just recruited a bunch of like low level people that can't be delegated to. Now, knee-jerk reaction from the guy that's the leader is to like, I'm not gonna delegate to them because I can't. I've tried before and I got burned, right? They didn't follow through. Just an actionable item for someone that's a leader is one, hiring correctly. If you hire correctly, that's a domino effect into culture. They're gonna set the tone for the culture. It gives the leader the ability to kind of let the reins go a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the people who make the most money, right? It's really two different types of people.
Yeah.
CEOs, owners of companies, and then salespeople, right? But really, who makes the most money? It's the people who are the best delegators at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Who can work themselves out of the position and hand it off to someone else who can effectively do what they once did. And what I did for, a number of years, like you were describing, like no one can do the job the way that I do it, so I'm just gonna continue doing it myself. And I was making money, but I wasn't making like real money, like real deal type money. Any of these top tier guys who are multiple million billionaires, it's because they're the best delegators at the end of the day.
I guess that goes to ego, I guess you would say, right?
It totally does, you're right.
Yeah,
100%.
Because if you don't have an ego, you don't necessarily need to be the best. I want to hire the best. Let's just say I'm in the company, I'm in installations or implementations or something like that, or programming or whatever the case is, right? And I'm getting paid a couple $100,000 a year, and it's just me. Well, now the company's scaling, but I was the best. I was the stud, right? I was amazing. Everyone relied on me. But I never shared my talents and never duplicated myself. Your value just drops.
I'll be honest, literally what you're describing, because I remember that like you talked about, hey, like it's time to start scaling basically. You know, you need to replicate yourself and other people. I literally said that I'm going to devalue myself. Like I'm gonna water myself down, which it was insecurity. To be real, like if I just think about it, it's like because I had tried to be a sales leader in the past and I had failed at it, and I'm like, but I'm gonna just go back to being a good closer. I'm gonna go back to being a good sniper because I can't be a platoon leader. But when I finally listened to really what you and Justin had to say, and I was like, okay, you tell me to do it, I'm just gonna do it. That's when I started making like real deal money, that I had never seen before, where my paychecks were increasing by 50, 60, 70, 75%.
Yeah.
And now also, it's so much more fulfilling leading troops into battle than just closing a deal. Not everyone can do it.
100%. No, you're a million percent right. So I think just to wrap it up real quick, when it comes to scaling a sales team, recruit correctly, have a profile on the person that you want on your team. Let them set the culture, set the trend, have a plan, share the plan with your team, and identifying what's your intent behind scaling so you could share that with them. Have a system in place where there's an amount of failure that they could fail, right? So you can give them that leash to then take responsibility and you'll have confidence delegating. I feel like that covers scaling.
Yeah, and then the last thing I was gonna say too, it's so much more rewarding than you just closing as much as you can. That's fun, that's great, but it's great when you can lead other troops into battle and they're willing to come behind you and go into war with you. There's nothing greater than that.
100%. So that was it. I think I was a little bit more than 5 minutes, but all good. 5 minutes of Phil and Brandon, Justin, we should call him. And that's it. Catch you on the next one.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.